Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Joyful Edit. Welcome in my studio. Hello, hello. I had a break. I was on holiday, as you can see. The sun is stunning. Oh my god. Today will be a little bit vulnerable. I mean, as usually is, to be honest. But this is my personal experience and my personal struggle, in a sense. And the topic of our conversation today is one and done. If you never heard that before, it's usually related to having children. And I think this topic is quite huge. In general, having children is something that should never be discussed or questioned and brought up in a bigger scheme of things. And I think decision of having children is huge in regards of responsibility that it carries, ability to have them. It's a life decision, and I think there is a massive cultural expectations of having multiple children. It doesn't matter if you are Eastern European, it doesn't matter if you are Mediterranean, Asian. I think there was this whole idea that family should be just based around having multiple children. Happy family is when you have multiple children. And I think the moment when I realized that it's not something I would want is because, first of all, I wanted to have a child because I thought, in general, having a child, I thought it's very wonderful to pass your story, your experience to another human being. When you pass away, there's somebody on this earth who will carry something about you to the next generations, that your DNA literally is getting passed forward. Um, and I thought I always wanted to have two children because I'm one of two. I have a sister and I love her so much, and I cannot imagine my life without her because I didn't know any better. I was born as a second child. I was born to have a sister. And I thought this is what I want for my child. And I have a daughter, and she is 5 years old soon. And I think this is this moment when people tend to ask me, or that even is that even a question? They tend to make those comments like, "Oh, she will be lonely," or "You will regret it later," or "Every child needs a sibling." Like, who will they be with when you are gone? Oh, you would change your mind. Or now, for example, it's like, oh, it's a little bit big gap now. Why don't you have another one? And I think the pressure for me usually comes from um, family. Family members are usually the ones that are the loudest, and I think it's my mother actually that always makes those comments. I think this whole episode got inspired by my mother because she makes those little comments like, oh, well, Naomi would be so much happier if she would have a sibling. She would be the happiest. Like, what is the measure of happiness for a child? A stable mother, a happy family, great relationship between parents. Since when having a sibling is a definition of happiness? Um, Also, there are friends and family members or whoever you know, they have multiple children, and those people tend to have a tendency assuming you will have another one, and there's always this expectation, always this question surrounding like when you're going to have another one. There's that if, like, you already had one, so you might as well have another one. Like, your biology allows you to have children, but what if you don't want to have another one? What if this experience taught you enough to make educated decision? You don't want that another child. What if you don't want child in general? Like, this is another topic. Like, I would like to have an episode about it as well, because there is so much to it that it's not just about what family wants for you or social media parenting culture or religion or a cultural expectation puts on you. What if there's this invisible assumption that more kids or any kids is a happier family? And I think we are overlooking this whole aspect of financial reality as well. I know it's not about money, don't get me wrong. Like, there are people living in a very poor countries having multiple children, and money is not a problem for them, or they have been like this since forever and that's not a problem. They have enough food to put on the table. But in my reality, personally, I live abroad and childcare costs are not for free. The nursery, for example, was costing me £1,500, which is somebody's paycheck. And I had to pay this to a nursery to take care of my child in order for me to go back to work. uh, Housing, like some people can't afford having a big enough apartment or a house to have multiple children, or maybe one is enough, maybe they have to co-share a bedroom. Like, people will find the reasons not to, and I get it, I understand this. And also for me personally is the factor that comes into it. I don't live in my country, like the original country, and in order to go to see my family, I need to travel. And I have to pay now for 3 tickets to go to see grandma and grandpa. And to give you an example, for example, I have to go, in order to fly to Poland for Christmas, it costs me around £1,000 for 3 people. Even if I would expect to get another child, uh, it would become even more and more expensive just to see the family, not to mention holidays, package holidays. Uh, and when you have that one child, you have to consider the fact that you would like to save up for the future, provide opportunities. University, for example, in England is not for free. You have to pay for that too. And all those little things, I'm not saying is everybody's reality or a problem, but it's a factor to be accounted for, right? And there is a whole another chapter of mental health and emotional capacity of a mother and a father, obviously, but a mother is in majority of cases carrying the load of pregnancy and postpartum and feeding at the very beginning if she's choosing to breastfeed. And I think people completely just switch off the part of protecting the peace of the mother, of the person. Like, you have to think about you, because without you, this first child will not have an available mother. You have to think about avoiding burnout. You have to think about knowing your limits without feeling guilty. And I think for me, physical reality and mental reality after pregnancy gave me the clarity about having another child and the recovery of it. And I'm now in my 30s. If I would decide to have another child, the recovery probably will be completely different. Um, and I had a traumatic birth experience, and I'm not saying this is my decision because of that, because probably from pragmatic point of view, I would possibly go through it again physically. I could, I think. And but I know that first 6 to 8 months of the life of my daughter, I don't remember much. It's a fog. I had depression, and physically and hormonally, your whole body has to go through so much. And I feel like I've missed this part of her life, and thinking that I would risk it again to be gone for her at the early stage of her life in order to give her a sibling, it feels like it will be really stretching thing, the presence I already have for my child. And I finally am fully immersed in her experience, fully immersed in her being there for her as a parent, as a mother, to be actually enjoying this. And I think there is so much more flexibility and so much more freedom from having one child, because you have more time to have this one-on-one attention. You have more energy to give it to this one child. It's you have If you have two parents parenting one child, there is always a chance for one of them to have a break. There's not one each. It's one child, and it's more energy for this child from both of the parents. And logistics of it, even going to the airport, being in an airplane when you have 3 seats, it's just the three of you and you can share the space. And it's it's all it's so many things and so many myths as well about children that are only children are spoiled and socially awkward. And I was leaving, I was brought up with this, like, oh, spoiled single child, one only child, because she doesn't have a sibling, doesn't know how to share. This is honestly one of the biggest lies that everybody tells you, because my child is only child, and she is a great sharer. She loves to share. She is very caring. Since she was little, she was sharing everything with us, mommy and daddy. Doesn't have to have a sibling now to share. She goes to the nursery. She always going to school. She always puts other first. She is very selfless, and her confidence and social skills are very well developed. And it's also proven that children who are only children are more eager to go to social situations, to blend, to find new friends, because they don't have that at home. Whereas children who have siblings, they tend to be more set back in a social situations because they already have a partner to play at home. Whereas the only children, they have this eagerness about them to go and see the world, to go meet new people, and it doesn't make them awkward at all. So those myths are just for you to feel guilty that your child will be the weird one. And trust me, that is not the case, okay? And you can have this social awkwardness regardless if you have siblings, or you can be spoiled even if you have a sibling. It doesn't matter. It's honestly just so not true. And also, there's so many things about positive traits in a child that is only child, because there's so much strong, the communication skills about this child are like next level. The comfort around adults, because she spends so much time with adults, and there is this eagerness to just immerse themselves, to be a grown up, like, and there's this solitude that she's so happy, like Naomi is so happy to play by herself, and she doesn't find this awkward or lonely. Obviously, we all have those moments when we want to play with somebody or be with somebody, but there's this comfort about them finding their own private space and personal space and being with people and not being with people. And I think we really need to think as a society and redefine what it means a complete family. Because complete family, it can be two people without a child. Let's agree on that. You do not have to have a child. Sometimes you cannot have a child. There's so many people struggling with fertility, so many people struggling to actually, so many people actually don't want children now because they know what is the responsibility of that. And the cheek of people to actually push it on you to have another one just because they have another one. And I've seen it a role many times in my life between people, family members, that I had another child thinking that's the best choice. And now, low key, they regret it. Or the amounts of time people say, well, it wasn't planned, but it happened, so we have them. And I think I am the second unplanned child. I think so. And obviously, my parents don't regret me, I hope. But it didn't make their life easier. And I'm not saying life is not about being easy, but I'm trying to pass a message here about the complete family is when their love is and energy, and where is everybody fully present and wants to be in this space. Yeah. So our family, it's complete, regardless whatever everybody says, because just because their idea of family is this way doesn't mean your idea it has to be the same, okay? And you cannot imagine, like, how big is the guilt of a parent when they feel that they have to make this decision. Because I spent so much time in my head, especially in the postpartum period. I had so much guilt that I already know I don't want another child. Like, I'm making my child miserable, but not bringing a sibling. But this child doesn't know any better. This child is very happy. And I have many only children friends. They are the most caring, the most giving, the most social people. The soul is so full. They are feeling so fulfilled in life. And every single time when I have a conversation about, would you like to have a sibling? I'm like, no, my life was great. And I have many friends and I have many cousins and I have the village around me of people, the network of people, and I don't know any better. So why should I? And not to mention the fact that people who have siblings, but there are big gaps between them, or they simply don't get on. There's no guarantee that when you have a child, your children will get on, they will play. It's honestly so oversold, and it should be a personal decision. What do you want to do? I think in the whole scenario of making decision of having a child or having another child, I think you just need to learn to trust yourself outside of people's opinions. Because first I thought, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But then really and truly, I have a one child. I experienced it. This is an educated decision of me not having another child. And it's actually so underestimated, this emotional labor that we constantly have to defend a deeply personal choice. This is, I was thinking about it for a long time. Don't assume that I just do it out of laziness or God knows what. This decision was on and on in my head. I was questioning if it's the right thing. Should I do it? Should I not? Can I afford it or not? Because for me, it was never about money. Because the health and the emotional capacity and emotional presence for the child I already have, it's priceless. There's no money you can put on it because you can be able to afford that child, another child, another child. But can you afford wasting the time of your well-being and this presence of a healthy, happy mother around the first child in order for them just to take off each other? Because there's there are a lot of families with multiple children, and you can see it that the children take care of children because mother and a father can only do as much, right? I honestly, this is a very heavy topic, regardless if you go one way or another, because if you have one, people will ask you when you have another one. When you have two, they'll be like, are you going to have a third one? Like, there's no in between. People will always be unhappy with your choice. So you might as well be the one who makes that choice and be happy with it. And there is so many ways I was trying to come up with an idea how to politely say it's none of your business. And with my parents or my mother, I just try to many ways, but she thinks she has an input to my life in decision of me having another child or is the best thing I can do, which is separate point. But with strangers or like family friends, even, I mean, if I have close friends would never ask that question, but people who are be like, oh, are you going to have another one? And I think I've learned to say something like, what makes you think that I can have another one? And this is like a penny, it's like a drop, and everybody's like, oh, actually, well, that's true though. Just because you have one child does not make it possible that you will have another one. What if you nearly died and your uterus got removed? People just should never ever ask any questions about people's fertility and having children because you don't know how much they've been trying. You don't know if they can. You don't know anything. Why do you think you should know anything? Why do you think it's okay to ask? What is this your business? It's literally like if you would come up to somebody saying, oh, I'm having sex with your husband. How's your sex life? Would you ask them like randomly? This is none of your business. So is having children is not your business. You are not the person raising these human beings. You don't carry the responsibility to make them actually decent humans to carry our world ahead, you know? And it's very important to have those conversations with your partner and being aligned in the decision and be on the same page because you are together handling this outside pressure in a sense. And if you are fearing the regret in the future, this has to be discussed. You have to be on the same page. And I'm very lucky that my husband was very supportive at the beginning and he said, I want what you want. And then we discussed it. And the further the years were going, we were more assured that we do not want second child because we really want to have this beautiful relationship with our girl and we want to cherish every moment with her and want to spoil her, want to travel the world, want to make the best possible opportunities for her, and that's okay. And people can have a different opinion. People can have a different idea of what is a perfect life, perfect family, ideal family. There is literally um, it's such an important point to make that the idea of having another child should come from the desire, not obligation. Because you don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe this child a sibling because this child doesn't know any better. So it should be fully desired, educated decision that you really and truly wanted. That your heart is in there, your mind is in there, your body is ready for it. This is you. This is your life. And there's nobody, absolutely nobody, is here to tell you that you should do it other way. Because this is your life to live, your experience to have. And I choose to have this experience as a happy mother. Because I experienced this already as a mother who wasn't there, a mother who was in a very dark place. And now, when I'm here, happy, enjoying my child so much, I would never change it for the world. And I want to keep it that way. And I think it's incredibly important that we put forward the quality of the relationship over the quantity of the family members. And this is again overseen by people because they think the more the merrier. It's going to be so nice, a loud house, blah blah. The chaos that it's evolving around children is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but you have to look at this as I want to nurture this relationship. I want to be there for my child. I want to have a friendship. I want to have a set boundaries. I want to create safety. I want to create adventure. I want to create lifetime memories of happy parents and happy child. And trust me, if your child is happy, it's only because the parents are happy. And if you are there juggling everything around, trying to pass one child to another parent, try to arrange pickups, separate schools, everything, this is a lot. And I have so much respect for people who have multiple children. My sister has multiple children, my friends have multiple children, and this is ongoing. And I know at some point it will be better, it will get easier, and I've seen this. And I honestly wish everybody all the best in their life, with their children, with their family, with their marriages, because we are here to have this one single experience, and everybody has a choice to do it how they want it. And we need to know that glorification of this parenting culture that is glorifying the exhaustion and self sacrifice, that good mothers always want more children because they are so good in it and they should sacrifice their life for having more children. Like, there's so many like myths around this. And it's actually so heartbreaking that some women that have more children, I can see them. I can see the sadness in their eyes sometimes when they just try to catch the breath. Maybe I came across the ones that actually were struggling and the 99% is happy. And I pray that is the case. But we need to be just learn as a society to just cheer on people, on mothers or parents and dads, that decision they made is right for them. Okay. It's nothing for you to just engage or comment on, because there is such a relief that comes with the fully accepting your family as it is. And I am here and I reached this stage and I'm really happy. I'm so happy that we are all on the same page. We have one child and that's how it will stay. And I think the ending question for today is, if no one else had an opinion, what would you truly choose? So, in that joyful edit, I want you to think, what is the joyful solution for you? Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. I hope it gave you some insights, or if you were thinking, making decisions, maybe there's something you will find in here for yourself. Thank you so much.